Another day, another Brittany Dawn internet history lesson. Episode 4. This is about Brody. In the simplest of terms, in October 2021, Brittany Dawn let her audience know that her dog Brody, who was roughly 2 years old at the time, was by a she had obviously posted about it on YouTube. There is a screenshot from the video that she posted, and we got like a couple of versions of the story. One where Brittany is maybe a little bit more vague. Again, this is several years ago. This video does remain, but there was one video that did get deleted. So we get like not necessarily conflicting information, but if you watched all of the stuff that she put out around that time, you might be like, hey, wait, I thought you said this in that video, but now you're saying this instead, right? Like that kind of vibe of where things just aren't exactly all on the same track. But the general details of this video are as follows. Brittany and Jordan, her now husband, had to go to a hardware store. She's like, I can't remember if it was Lowe's or it was Home Depot. I think it was Lowe's. They decided to leave the dogs out. This is Remy and Brody. She says Remy is an adventurer, but usually he's fine. Like usually he's good. He doesn't go anywhere near the road. But like they're usually fine. So she left them out when they went on their errand. They're coming back. Brittany sees a flash of something on the side of the road, and she just knows. She's like, oh my god, that can't be. Oh, it is. Barrels out of the car, in her words, barrels out of Jordan's truck before he even has a chance to understand what's happening, goes up to the dog, sees that in her professional opinion, because remember guys, she was a vet tech for 5 years. I don't mean to laugh, but like, when were you a vet tech, and what certifications did you have? She says that she like started going to college to be a veterinarian. So like I know that she's familiar with animals, but she like says it like, well, I would know, right? Like I was a vet tech for 5 years. I saw him. There was nothing that could have been done. Is essentially what she gets to. She goes, she sees Brody, nothing could be done. Jordan gets her in the house. A couple of their neighbors come out, neighbors who like know what's going on and are okay with what happens next. And she's crying. She covers her ears. She hears Jordan rev the engine, and they instead of taking the dog to a vet or like calling to see if the fire department can come out, like I mean, I don't know what you do in that scenario. I've thank God like never had to see my own pet in that situation, but like I don't know, you call somebody. If I didn't know where to go, I know where our closest like 24-hour animal hospital is, so I would just presumably take her there. But if she was in such a state that like I didn't think I could get her there, I would call somebody. I would call like the non-emergency number for the police department. I would call this emergency like 24/7 vet hospital and see what we can do, right? That's just me. That's just what I think that I would do, because you can never say what you would do in a scenario until you are in that scenario. But like, that's what I think I would do. So instead of doing any of those things, again, Jordan revs the engine and they put an end to Brody's suffering in their own way. Instead of seeing if there's anything they can do, they put him down. I understand that there may be scenarios in which it is more humane to put an end to an animal's suffering than to keep them alive. I can understand that concept. I can like understand that and be like, yes, in certain scenarios it is the humane thing to do. It is the kind thing to do, not to let an animal suffer anymore. And so I don't know what Brody looked like. I don't know how bad things were. I don't know if it's legal for them to have used the tool that they did in order to at home euthanize their dog. I don't know what you can say on here, but they used, so they did that in a residential area. I don't know if that's legal. I don't know if you can do that. The biggest thing to me though, and the thing that like really gets me about this, is like, you intentionally left your dogs outside. You intentionally chose to do that. You said, I know Remy likes to explore, but it's never been a problem before. Well, he's an animal. And Remy wasn't even the one that like was involved in this, other than being left out with Brody. But it's like, that's an animal. You never know what they're gonna do. They've always done what they've always done until they do something different. Like, you know, it's the same reason with like pets, how you watch them around kids or in new scenarios or around new people. Like, you keep an eye on them and you act like a responsible pet owner because you know what they do in general, but you never know what they're going to do in different situations, in different scenarios, right? Like, so for her to intentionally have left the dog out and then act like a victim of the circumstance is, one, like totally unfair to Brody, who had to lose his life because of your actions. Like, your decision to leave him outside led to this. And she wants to say like, I'm just so mad at the person who hit him and left. It was a hit and run, because that's how she phrased it in the title. My dog was in a hit and run. Yes, and that person, I hope, feels guilty for not trying to do anything for the dog. But ultimately, you guys are the ones who left them out. You're the ones who left Remy and Brody out, and now Brody is gone. And so this is just one animal, one drop in the bucket of the multitudes of animals that Brittany has had and been a negligent and less than stellar owner to. So we went over Harley yesterday. We went over Brody today. Tomorrow, let me know in the comments, do you want to go over Nico? Maybe not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Friday, so I have to get ready for some things. So, but like the next installment, do we want to talk about Nico, who was Brittany's pit bull, who she, not to spoil things, but we'll briefly say, found a different owner for, and then ignored the owner when they expressed that they needed some help and they wanted to return Nico, and then they ended up abandoning him, and there's a whole story there. Or do we want to talk about the foster care situation? The foster care one is gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a very long video, so let me know. Either way, these are all long. I'm a yapper. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you have any questions, any requests. Somebody said they want me to do Meredith Foster next, like a series on her. So if you have any suggestions on who you would be more interested in knowing about after we're done going over Brittany's various controversies, let me know. I do have a YouTube channel where I don't really post that often anymore. I had a son like, I don't mention it in every video. I had a son back in October, and I work full-time, and my husband is recovering from a below-the-knee amputation, so like we're really busy. And so I used to post weekly on YouTube. I haven't really been able to get in there like on a regular cadence since having my son, but my niche and like knowledge in general is around religious influencers. So if you have any suggestions, let me know.